Have you ever stopped to wonder, truly wonder, about the parts of yourself you keep hidden? Not just from others, but from you? It's a strange thought, isn't it? We spend so much time building an image, a version of ourselves we're comfortable with, a face we show the world. But what about the whispers in the dark, the feelings we push away, the thoughts that make us squirm? What if the very things we refuse to face, the bits we tuck away in the deepest corners of our minds, actually hold the key to who we truly are? It's a mystery, a puzzle waiting to be solved, and it begins not out there, in the wide world, but deep inside each of us. Imagine a treasure chest, locked away and forgotten. We might think it's empty, or perhaps even dangerous. But what if, within that dusty box, lies something precious, something that could change everything we believe about ourselves? This isn't just about secrets we keep from friends or family. This is about the secret self, the quiet companion that walks beside us, often unseen, often unheard. It's the part of us that sometimes acts in ways we don't understand, or feels emotions that seem to come from nowhere. This hidden realm, this inner landscape, is where the journey truly begins. It's a journey into the shadows, not to be afraid, but to discover. It asks us to be brave enough to peek behind the curtain of our own minds, to question the familiar, and to embrace the unknown within. What wonders, what truths might be waiting there, just beyond our sight? This journey into the hidden self, this quest to understand the parts of us we often ignore, was something a very wise man named Carl Jung thought deeply about. He was a thinker from a long time ago who studied people's minds and dreams. Jung had a big idea that helps us understand this hidden part of ourselves. He called it the shadow. Imagine the shadow like a dark shape that follows you. It's not a real shadow you see on the ground, but a shadow inside your mind. It's all the things about yourself that you don't like, don't want to admit, or even wish weren't there. Maybe it's a feeling of anger that pops up when you least expect it. Or a tiny bit of jealousy you feel when someone else does well. It could be laziness when you know you should be working, or even unkind thoughts that flash through your mind. These are the pieces of ourselves that we try to push away. We might pretend they don't exist, or we might try to hide them from everyone, including ourselves. We build a bright, shiny outer self, hoping no one, and especially not us, will ever see the shadow lurking beneath. But Carl Jung taught us that the shadow doesn't just go away because we ignore it. It stays there, influencing us in ways we might not even realize. It's the part of us that holds our imperfections, our weaknesses, and sometimes, even our wilder, more untamed feelings. It's the opposite of the good person we try to be, and because it makes us feel uncomfortable, we often keep it locked away in the dark. It's easy to think of the shadow as something purely bad, a collection of all our flaws. We often imagine it as a monster hiding under the bed, full of scary things. But Carl Jung taught us a surprising truth: the shadow isn't just a container for our weaknesses and dark thoughts. It's much more complex than that. Imagine the shadow not just as a place where we dump our unwanted traits, but also as a forgotten attic. In that attic, alongside dusty old broken toys, you might find hidden treasures. Beautiful paintings covered by sheets, powerful tools that were once used to build great things, or even old maps to adventures yet to be had. In the same way, our shadow can hold forgotten talents, strengths we never knew we had, or parts of our personality that are strong and useful but were pushed away because they didn't fit neatly into the good person we wanted to be. Perhaps you were told as a child that being too loud or too curious was bad. So, you tucked away your bold voice and your adventurous spirit into your shadow. Or maybe you learned that showing anger was wrong, even when it was a fair anger that could have helped you stand up for yourself. This strong, protective part of you might then retreat into the shadows, waiting. So, the shadow isn't just about what's bad or ugly. It's also about what's undeveloped, what's been ignored, or what's been judged as unacceptable by others or by ourselves. It can hold our raw energy, our passion, our creativity, and our power. These aren't bad things at all. They are vital parts of us that, if brought into the light, could help us live fuller, richer lives. To truly understand what the shadow feels like, let's step into an old story, a common image found in myths and fairy tales from around the world. Imagine a deep, dark forest. At the edge of the forest, the sun shines brightly on a clear path, filled with singing birds and friendly animals. This is where we like to stay, in the light, where everything is known and safe. This is our conscious self, the person we present to the world, the person we believe ourselves to be. But beyond the sunny path, the trees grow thicker. The light barely touches the ground, and shadows stretch long and twisted. Strange sounds echo from within, and the path disappears into tangled roots and thorny bushes. This is the dark forest, a perfect symbol for our shadow. It's the place where we don't want to go, where we fear getting lost, or worse, finding something scary. In these old tales, heroes often have to enter the dark forest to find something important, to face a challenge, or to discover a hidden truth. They don't want to go, their hearts pound with fear, but they know they must. And often, within the deepest, darkest parts of the forest, they don't just find danger. They find wisdom, magical helpers, or even a hidden treasure that helps them become stronger and wiser. The feeling of the shadow is much like that forest. It can feel scary, unknown, and full of things we'd rather avoid. It's the knot in your stomach when you think about that mistake you made, or the sudden urge to snap at someone you love. It's the hidden wish for something you think is wrong, or the quiet fear of not being good enough. Yet, just like the hero in the myth, within this feared place, there are often powerful lessons and parts of ourselves waiting to be found and understood. If the shadow is like a deep, dark forest, how do we even begin to find our way inside? One of the most common and powerful ways our mind tries to show us these hidden parts is through our dreams. When we close our eyes at night, the conscious mind, the part that likes order and logic, takes a rest. Then, our deeper self, the unconscious, can speak to us in its own special language. Dreams often feel strange, like a movie where things don't quite make sense. You might dream of a monster chasing you, or being lost in a confusing maze. You might see a person you don't know who acts mean or scary. These strange pictures and strong feelings in dreams are often symbols from our shadow trying to get our attention. For example, that monster chasing you in a dream might not be a real monster, but a part of your own anger or fear that you've been pushing down. The lost feeling in a maze could be a hidden part of you that feels confused or unsure in real life, a feeling you usually try to ignore. The mean stranger in your dream could be a part of your own personality that you find unpleasant or don't want to admit to having. Jung believed that dreams are like letters from our unconscious mind, trying to tell us something important about ourselves. They don't speak in plain words, but in symbols and feelings that can sometimes be a little scary or confusing. But if we pay attention to these dream messages, they can be like a map leading us into our own dark forest, showing us where our shadow hides and what it might be trying to tell us. It's our inner world trying to find balance, nudging us to look at what we've turned away from during the day. While dreams offer a hidden language from our inner world, the shadow also shows itself in our outer world, in the way we see other people. This is a fascinating and sometimes surprising part of Jung's ideas. Have you ever met someone who just instantly annoyed you, even if they hadn't done anything truly bad? Or found yourself getting really upset about a small fault in another person, a fault that, if you were really honest, you might see a tiny bit in yourself? This is called projection, and it's one of the clearest ways our shadow tries to get our attention in daily life. When we don't like or accept a part of ourselves, a part of our shadow, we unconsciously push it out. Then, we see that very trait, often much bigger and uglier, in someone else. We point fingers, get angry, or judge them harshly for the very thing we refuse to see in our own mirror. For example, if you always try to be super organized and hate it when you're a little messy, you might get extremely frustrated with a friend who is often disorganized. The messiness in your friend bothers you so much because it reminds you of the messy part of yourself that you work so hard to hide and control. Or if you believe that being lazy is truly terrible, you might get furious at a coworker who takes a long lunch break, even if deep down, a part of your own shadow wishes it could be a little lazier sometimes. It's like our shadow is playing a trick on us. It whispers, "Look how bad they are," to distract us from looking at our own hidden faults. But when we start to notice what really bothers us in others, especially if it feels like a strong reaction, it can be a helpful clue. It's an invitation to pause and ask ourselves, is there a tiny piece of this trait in my own shadow that I'm not seeing? This kind of honest looking can be tough, but it's a powerful step towards understanding ourselves more fully. So, we know the shadow holds bits we don't like, and also hidden strengths. We see it in our dreams, and sometimes project it onto others. But why, if it feels so scary or uncomfortable, should we bother to look at it at all? Why not just keep it tucked away in the dark, out of sight, out of mind? Carl Jung believed that ignoring our shadow doesn't make it go away. Instead, it makes it stronger, more unruly. Think of a wild animal kept in a cage. If you never feed it, never train it, it will grow more ferocious, more unpredictable. Our unacknowledged shadow is like that. It might act out in ways we don't understand, causing problems in our lives, our relationships, and even our own feelings. The true reason to face our shadow, even with a trembling heart, is to become a whole person. Jung called this integration. It means bringing all the parts of ourselves, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the light, and the dark, together into one complete self. It's like building a house. You wouldn't just build the sunny front rooms and ignore the basement or the back alleys, would you? A strong house needs all its parts, even the ones that aren't pretty. When we start to shine a light on our shadow, we begin to understand why we do certain things, why we react in certain ways. We gain a deeper knowledge of ourselves. This isn't about getting rid of the shadow, it's about making friends with it. It's about saying, "Yes, this is also a part of me," and learning to manage it, to use its energy for good, and to stop letting it control us from the dark. It is a path to a richer, more honest, and more powerful way of being. So, what does this, making friends, with our shadow actually look like in our everyday lives? It means we start to shine a light on why we do certain things that confuse or trouble us. It helps us understand the roots of problems that keep popping up, like weeds in a garden. Think about someone who always gets angry when they feel ignored. On the surface, they might seem like a person with a short temper. But if they bravely look into their shadow, they might discover a deep, hidden fear from childhood of not being important or seen. This old fear, tucked away in the shadow, causes the anger to burst out when they feel overlooked. By understanding this, they can learn to calm that old fear instead of just reacting with anger. Or imagine a person who constantly puts off important tasks, even though they know it hurts them. They might call themselves lazy, and hate that part of themselves, pushing it into their shadow. But if they face this shadow of procrastination, they might find a hidden fear of failure, or even a fear of success. Perhaps a part of them fears that if they try their best and succeed, they'll have even more pressure next time. Once they understand this deeper fear, they can address it, rather than just battling laziness. These are just a couple of examples of how facing the shadow helps us solve the puzzles of our own behavior. It's not about finding excuses for bad actions, but about understanding the hidden springs that cause them. It's like being a detective of your own soul. You gather clues from your feelings, your reactions, and your patterns, and slowly, you begin to see the whole picture. This understanding is the first step towards true change and growth. It's amazing how this idea of the shadow, even if we don't know the word, Jungian psychology, shows up everywhere. Especially in the stories we tell and the art we make. Artists, writers, filmmakers, and musicians often explore the shadow in their work without even realizing they're tapping into this deep part of human experience. Think about your favorite stories. Often, the most interesting characters aren't purely good or purely bad. They have flaws, secrets, and hidden desires that make them feel real. The hero might have a dark past they're trying to outrun, or a secret anger that sometimes makes them do reckless things. The villain, on the other hand, might have a hidden wound or a past hurt that explains their cruel actions. These are the shadows of the characters coming to life. For example, in many fairy tales, there's a wicked stepmother or a grumpy witch. These characters often show the dark, jealous, or controlling parts of human nature that we prefer to ignore in ourselves. They are like exaggerated mirrors of our own unacknowledged shadows. Or consider a song that expresses a feeling of deep sadness or anger that you yourself have felt but might not want to show. The artist, by putting that emotion into their music, helps you see and feel a part of your own shadow in a safe way. These creators aren't necessarily reading Carl Jung, but they are listening to something deep inside themselves, and deep inside all of us. They are tapping into the universal patterns of the human mind, the things we all experience but often keep hidden. Through their stories and art, they help us explore our own dark forests from a safe distance, making the idea of facing our own shadows a little less scary and a lot more understandable. They offer us a kind of map, drawn from the shared human journey into the depths of the soul. It's important to remember that this journey into the shadow, this exploration of our hidden self, doesn't have to be a frightening one. While the idea of facing our less desirable traits might bring a little shiver, we approach this with gentleness, with a calm and understanding heart. Think of it not as confronting a monster, but as slowly, carefully, illuminating a dusty, forgotten room. We are not here to judge or to blame. We are here to observe, to understand, and to integrate. Imagine yourself holding a soft, warm lantern, its light reaching into the dim corners of a quiet space. You are not shining a harsh spotlight that blinds, but a gentle glow that invites things to be seen as they are. This process is about kindness to yourself, recognizing that every part of you, even the parts you've rejected, has a story and a reason for being there. There's no need to rush, no need to force anything. Just a slow, steady breathing in and out, allowing your mind to gently consider these ideas. This isn't a race, but a meditative walk through your inner landscape. It's a quiet invitation to listen to the whispers of your soul, to feel safe enough to truly hear them. The goal is not to punish yourself for what you find, but to embrace it with compassion, understanding that all these pieces, when brought into the light, make up the unique and valuable person you are. This deep work is a gift you give to yourself, a path to peace within. As we gently explore these deep ideas, it's vital to remember one very comforting truth: having a shadow doesn't make you strange or bad. In fact, it's completely normal. Every single human being, from the kindest saint to the wisest teacher, carries a shadow. It is an unavoidable, natural part of being human. Think of it like this: just as every object casts a shadow when light shines on it, every personality has a shadow side. You cannot have light without shadow, and you cannot have a complete self without this hidden, darker aspect. It's not a flaw in your design, it's a fundamental part of the human experience. So, if you sometimes feel a flicker of anger you didn't expect, or a thought that seems unkind, or a desire that feels a little wild, don't panic. Don't feel ashamed. These aren't signs that you are uniquely flawed. They are simply signs that you are a living, breathing human being with a full range of emotions and experiences. The goal isn't to erase these parts, because that's impossible. The goal is to acknowledge them, to understand them, and to learn how to live with them in a healthy way. Understanding that everyone has a shadow can actually be a great relief. It takes away the heavy burden of trying to be perfect all the time. It allows us to be more forgiving of ourselves and, perhaps, even more understanding of others. We are all on this journey together, each of us carrying our own unique blend of light and shadow. This shared humanity makes the exploration of our own depths a little less lonely and a lot more meaningful. Knowing that everyone has a shadow, and learning to approach our own with kindness has a powerful effect not just on ourselves, but on our relationships with others. Think about how much smoother and deeper our connections can become when we truly understand ourselves. When we face our own shadow, we become less likely to project our unwanted traits onto others. Remember that example of getting angry at a messy friend because it reminds you of your own hidden messiness? When you acknowledge your own shadow of imperfection, that anger starts to soften. You realize, this isn't just about them, it's also a reflection of something in me. This awareness stops the blaming and allows for more patience and understanding. Also, when we accept all parts of ourselves, the light and the shadow, we become more genuine. We don't have to work so hard to pretend to be someone we're not. This authenticity makes us more approachable and trustworthy. People can sense when you are comfortable in your own skin, and this allows for deeper, more honest connections. No one wants to feel like they are interacting with a perfect, unchanging mask. We connect through our shared humanity, including our shared imperfections. Furthermore, by understanding our own emotional triggers and patterns that come from our shadow, we can respond to situations more thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This means fewer arguments, fewer misunderstandings, and more peaceful interactions. Our relationships become stronger because they are built on a foundation of self-awareness and acceptance, both for ourselves and for those we care about. It's like clearing the tangled vines from a garden path, making it easier for everyone to walk together. It might seem simple, this idea of looking within and accepting all parts of ourselves. But in truth, it takes incredible courage. It is far easier to keep the shadow locked away, to pretend it doesn't exist, or to blame others for the discomfort it causes. To choose to turn inward, to shine a light into the places we've hidden even from ourselves, is an act of profound bravery. Imagine standing at the entrance of that dark forest, knowing that unknown things, both scary and wonderful, await you inside. Most people would turn back. But the brave soul steps forward, lantern in hand, ready to meet whatever comes. This isn't a physical battle, but a battle within your own mind and heart. It's about facing your own judgments, your own fears, and your own discomfort. The world often tells us to be only one way: happy, strong, successful, kind. It rarely encourages us to embrace our sadness, our weaknesses, our failures, or our moments of irritation. So, to actively choose to look at these less acceptable parts of ourselves, to acknowledge them and say, "Yes, this is also me," goes against a lot of what we've been taught. It means being willing to feel uncomfortable, to sit with feelings that are not always pleasant, and to forgive ourselves for not being perfect. This act of self-acceptance is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's a quiet strength, a deep resilience that comes from truly knowing yourself, flaws and all. It frees up so much energy that was once used to hide and pretend. It's the bravery of being fully human, in all your messy, magnificent glory. It's saying yes to the whole of who you are, and in that yes, a new kind of freedom begins. This profound work of looking within, of bravely acknowledging and accepting our shadow, is best understood not as a single task, but as a lifelong journey. It's not a destination you reach and then you're done. It's an ongoing path, a continuous exploration of who you are becoming. Imagine yourself as an adventurer, setting out on a grand quest. Your map is your inner wisdom, your compass is your intuition, and your destination is wholeness. Along this journey, you will encounter unexpected turns, hidden valleys, and perhaps even some mountains that seem too tall to climb. These are the moments when your shadow might show itself in new ways, challenging you to look deeper, to understand more. Sometimes the path will be clear and bright, filled with moments of insight and self-acceptance. Other times it might lead through dense fog, where things feel confusing and unclear. You might stumble, you might feel lost, but each step, each moment of honest reflection moves you forward. This journey is unique to each person, shaped by their own experiences, their own hidden corners. It's a journey of discovery, not just of what you dislike about yourself, but of the amazing, untapped potential that also resides in your shadow. Like finding a hidden spring in a dark cave, bringing water to life. Every time you face a piece of your shadow with courage and kindness, you add another piece to your personal map, making you more complete, more grounded, and more authentically yourself. This is the great adventure of the soul, a voyage into the depths to bring forth new light. As we walk this path of discovery, it's important to clear up a common misunderstanding. Integrating the shadow is not about trying to become a perfect person. It's not about making all your bad parts disappear, or about reaching a state where you never feel anger, fear, or sadness again. That would be like trying to make your physical shadow vanish completely, impossible as long as there's light. Instead, integrating the shadow is about becoming more real. It's about being honest with yourself about who you truly are, in all your glorious complexity. Imagine a beautiful, detailed painting. If you only looked at the bright, sunny parts and ignored the deep colors and shadows that give it depth, you would miss the true beauty of the artwork. Our lives are like that painting. The shadow parts add depth, texture, and a richness that a purely perfect surface could never have. When you integrate your shadow, you stop pretending. You stop trying to fit into a tiny box of what you think you should be. You allow yourself to be human, with all the messiness and wonder that comes with it. This doesn't mean you act out on every negative impulse. It means you understand those impulses, you own them, and then you can choose how to respond, rather than being controlled by them from the dark. It's about living with integrity, where your inner world and your outer actions are more in line. This authenticity is a powerful thing. It brings a deep sense of peace and groundedness, because you are no longer fighting against yourself. You become a person who is whole, not flawless, but real, strong, and deeply, truly alive. This is the true gift of facing the shadow, not perfection, but profound truth. Once we understand that integrating the shadow is about becoming real, not perfect, a truly remarkable thing happens. We begin to see the shadow not as a burden, but as a deep well of untapped power and creativity. Remember those hidden talents and strengths we talked about earlier, tucked away in the forgotten attic of our minds? When we embrace the shadow, we unlock them. Think about the raw energy of anger. If left unchecked, it can be destructive. But if you face that anger, understand its source, and integrate it, that same powerful energy can be transformed into a fierce drive to stand up for what's right, to protect yourself or others, or to fuel ambitious projects. It becomes a force for good, guided by your conscious will. Or consider the parts of you that might be considered wild or unconventional. Maybe you were told to be quiet, to fit in, to not draw attention to yourself. So, your unique way of seeing the world, your artistic spark, or your adventurous spirit went into the shadow. When you embrace these unacceptable traits, they don't make you strange, they make you powerfully original. Many great artists, innovators, and leaders have been people who dared to embrace their shadow, allowing their raw, untamed energy to fuel their unique contributions to the world. The shadow is not just darkness, it is potential. It holds the parts of you that are strong, passionate, and deeply authentic, but which you may have feared or suppressed. By bringing these aspects into the light of your awareness, you don't just become whole, you become immensely powerful. You gain access to a deeper, richer source of energy and inspiration that can transform your life and allow you to live with a boldness you never thought possible. It is the gold hidden in the darkness, waiting for you to claim it. We have journeyed through the concepts of the shadow, from its hidden nature to its surprising potential for power and creativity. We've seen how it speaks to us through dreams and reflections in others, and how embracing it leads not to perfection, but to a profound and genuine sense of self. This path, though personal, is a universal one, a deep call to wholeness that echoes in every human heart. The wisdom of Carl Jung invites us to look beyond the surface, to understand that true strength comes not from hiding our flaws, but from acknowledging them, integrating them, and learning to dance with both our light and our dark. It's a dance of self-acceptance, a melody of truth. So, as we bring our reflections to a gentle close, take a moment. Breathe deeply. Let these ideas settle within you, like stones finding their place in a quiet stream. There's no rush, no pressure, just an invitation. With a calm heart, I ask you now, what shadow are you ready to face today, and what light might it bring into your life? We have walked through the quiet corners of the mind, explored the whispers of dreams, and understood how the hidden parts of ourselves, our shadow, play a role in everything we do. We've learned that this shadow is not a monster to be feared, but a part of our complete human story, holding both our perceived flaws and our greatest untapped strengths. The wisdom of Carl Jung calls us to a deeper understanding, an invitation to embrace all of who we are. It's a gentle call to courage, asking us to look with open eyes and a kind heart into the very places we've been taught to avoid. For in that honest gaze, in that quiet acceptance, lies the true path to becoming whole, authentic, and truly alive. So, as the light of our shared reflection begins to fade, I leave you with a simple, yet powerful, question. It's a question for your own heart, a seed to plant in the garden of your soul. Take a moment, let the quiet settle, and listen to the answer that rises from within. What shadow are you ready to face today, and what new light might it bring into your life? What hidden strength or understanding is waiting for you, just beyond the edge of your comfort, ready to be discovered and embraced? The journey within is yours, and the answers are waiting.